These are the most disturbing characters in Warhammer. Number 6, Trazyn the Infinite. Somewhere in the galaxy there is a museum where every exhibit is a real person, still awake, still screaming behind the glass for 10,000 years, and the guy who runs it genuinely thinks he's doing them a favor. That museum belongs to Trazyn the Infinite. Trazyn is a Necron. That's an ancient race of robotic skeletons who swapped their living bodies for metal ones 60 million years ago, and have clanked around the galaxy ever since. Most Necrons want to reconquer the stars. Trazyn wants to put them in a display case. He's an immortal museum curator who can fold up reality and pocket it, and his idea of a great exhibit is you. So when Trazyn spots something he likes, a relic, a famous warrior, a whole moment in history, he pulls out a device called a Tesseract Labyrinth. It's a little cube with an entire pocket dimension crammed inside it, and he just takes the thing whole and alive. He doesn't kill it, that would ruin it. It gets frozen mid-motion, fully conscious, and filed away on his tomb world. Take Cadia. When that fortress world finally fell, its single greatest commander, Lord Castellan Creed, was overseeing the last desperate evacuation. Trazyn reached in and plucked him out of that moment, and think about what that means for Creed. Death never came for him. He is still awake, frozen at the worst second of his life, eyes open, mind running at full speed, held there. Not for a year, not for a century, for 10,000 years and counting, aware of every one of them, while Trazyn walks past the case and doesn't bother to look. And he does this in bulk. During one war, he wiped out 5 entire regiments of soldiers and turned them into dioramas. Then he wrote the local Inquisitor, one of the Imperium's witch-hunting secret police, a sincerely polite thank you note, thanking her for so generously helping him upgrade his collection. He's got a recreation of a famous general's death where 1 in 10 of the figures is a real soldier kidnapped from 300 years in the past because the scene needed to look right. To Trazyn, none of these people are people. They are things he owns. Number 5, Lucius the Eternal. With this one, killing the bad guy is the trap. The moment you feel good about winning, you start turning into him. Literally. Lucius is a Chaos Space Marine, one of the humanity's super soldiers who turned traitor and signed up with Slaanesh. That's the Chaos God of Pleasure and Excess, cranked way past the point of sanity. Back when he was loyal, Lucius was the finest swordsman in his legion, and crucially, he would not shut up about it. Slaanesh took all that vanity and spun it into a curse. Lucius can absolutely be killed. You can beat him in a duel and walk away the winner. But the second you feel anything about it, pride, satisfaction, even a flicker of relief that you're still breathing, that feeling is the door. Lucius starts growing back inside the body of whoever killed him, slowly, over hours until your face reshapes into his and your mind gets shoved into the passenger seat. He takes the wheel and you don't get to leave. Now, follow where you end up. Your soul stays awake, fused into his armor as one more screaming face, and every face on that armor was someone like you, someone who won, beat him fair, let themselves enjoy it for 1 second, and paid for that second with everything. They're all still in there, hundreds of them conscious, feeling every kill he makes, with no body, no voice, and no end coming. So the only way to truly put Lucius down is to kill him and feel nothing at all, which, good luck for anyone who just fought their life against a man whose entire personality is murder. He's been running this for 10,000 years, wearing body after body, and he's lost count of how many. And before any of it, way back during the Great Betrayal that kicked off the Galaxy's Civil War, he showed everyone exactly who he was. He butchered 30 of his own loyal brothers, men who trusted him, just to buy himself a seat at the traitors' table. All the curse did was make that permanent. Number 4, Morathi. Morathi has been lying to every single one of her followers for thousands of years, and the lie is soaked in blood the whole way down. Morathi runs the Daughters of Cain, a sisterhood of fanatical warrior priestesses over in the world of Age of Sigmar. Cain was their god of murder, and the daughters believe every drop of blood they spill feeds him, and every sacrifice is holy. There's just one detail Morathi has kept from them for their entire history. Cain is dead. Has been dead the whole time. All that blood his faithful have spilled in his name doesn't reach a god, it reaches her. Think about what that does to the believers. Generations of these women give their whole lives to it, training from childhood, killing, bleeding on the altar themselves, everyone certain they serve something holy, and the only thing on the other end of all that devotion is one woman who knows there's nobody home. They died for her, they just never found out. And we are talking an ocean of blood. The cult runs on industrial-scale sacrifice. Warriors raid across the realms, dragging back living captives, killed over giant bronze basins called cauldrons of blood. Get specific about it. You're hauled onto a platform above one of these cauldrons, in front of a chanting crowd, and opened up so your blood drains into the bowl. You die thinking it means something, that it reaches a god. It goes into a tank to keep one woman young and a step from godhood. She even built entire new species this way, taking captured souls and reforging them in a giant cauldron with her own blood. And she has never once flinched at spending her own people. Once, to snap her withdrawn son out of his isolation, she quietly started a rebellion in one of his cities, knowing full well he'd answer by wiping out every man, woman, and child inside the walls. He did. She got her result, an entire city's population erased to send one message, and she'd run the math on it before the first body dropped. Number 3. Erebus. Erebus never lifted a blade in his life. He just talked and quietly arranged for billions to die without ever being in the room when it happened. He's a word-bearer, a priest of one of the traitor Space Marine legions, and he holds a very special place in Warhammer history because more than any other single person, he's the man who engineered the Horus Heresy. That's the galaxy-spanning civil war that split humanity in half and left the Imperium the broken, paranoid wreck it still is 10,000 years later. He didn't fight in it so much as light it, on purpose, by hand, then step back to watch. His whole method was patience and manipulation. He got close to Horus, the single greatest hero of the age and the Emperor's favorite son. He had Horus struck down with a cursed blade, then offered up a cure that was really a slow slide into chaos worship. By the time Horus got back up, the noblest warrior alive belonged to the Dark Gods, and the war was coming. Erebus set up the first great atrocity of that war too, a whole planet of loyal soldiers virus-bombed from orbit because they were in the way. These were the men who'd stay true, standing on that world waiting for orders from their own side when the bombs fell, and the virus doesn't kill clean, it eats organic matter, all of it. So those men came apart where they stood, tens of thousands of them, never understanding the people they trusted had already crossed them off. And the man simply never stops. Even his name isn't his. As a kid, his parents kept nagging him to be more like a nice, well-behaved boy in the village who happened to be named Erebus. So he strangled that boy, copied his face tattoos, and took his name, which is a deeply unwell response to mild parental disappointment. Thousands of years after kicking off the heresy, he was still at it, rounding up millions of captives and slaughtering them in bulk to tear holes in reality and pour demons through. Everyone else here kills with their hands. Erebus just decides, from a comfortable distance, that millions should die, and then they do. Number 2. Urien Rakarth. Urien Rakarth is an artist. His canvas is a living body. His medium is pain, and he has all the time in the universe to perfect it. He's a homunculus, which is the Dark Eldar word for a torture surgeon. The Dark Eldar, quick version, are space elves living in a hidden city with a problem. Their souls are slowly being eaten by a god, and the only thing holding it off is feeding on the pain and fear of others. So this is an entire civilization that tortures people to keep existing at an industrial scale, and Rakarth is their Grand Master. The oldest and most gifted flesh sculptor of the lot. He's died and come back so many times that he describes the experience of dying like a wine snob describing a good vintage. What he does is turn agony into theater. He throws what they politely call carnivals of pain. He descends on some populated world after dark while an audience of his peers hovers overhead in luxury barges to watch the show. And you're the show. He isn't trying to kill you, not quickly. The whole craft is keeping you alive and awake and in as much pain as a body can hold for as long as he can stretch it while the crowd enjoys itself. He's had thousands of years to get good at it. The dying is the easy part, the waiting is the performance. And the tools are worse than the idea. He carries a device that releases bound spirits to flay the skin off a victim's head and pull the still conscious brain out through the neck, which means there is a window, a real one, where you're aware of what has just been done to you. He once reshaped a whole batch of victims to look, move, and even smell like a completely different species purely to humiliate them. And his ambition doesn't stop at one body at a time. There was a maiden world, an entire inhabited planet that Rakarth wanted for his experiments. So he didn't raid it, he stole it. The whole planet. Using a captured black hole and a tear in space, he hauled the entire living world, population and all, into his home city's orbit to take apart at his leisure. A whole planet of people, now specimens. To Rakarth, Everything alive is raw material, and the only question that interests him is how much can be done to it before it stops. Number 1. Nagash. Every monster so far wanted something specific. Power, blood, art, a win. Nagash wants all of it. Every living thing in the world dead and kneeling and serving him forever, and he got disturbingly close. Nagash invented necromancy. Before him, nobody had ever raised the dead. Full stop. He's the source, the one who pried open death itself and worked out how to put whatever crawled back out to work. He spent thousands of years and several of his own deaths chasing one goal, end all life, then rule the obedient corpses left behind. He's about as low as a person can sink, and his story starts small and personal before it ever swallows a continent. He kicked things off by murdering his own brother, sealing him alive inside their dead dad's tomb to take the throne. Stop on that one. Not killed, sealed in alive, in the dark, left to run out of air in a place no one would ever open. Then he took his brother's widow, killed her young son, and tricked the grieving mother into drinking a potion of eternal life brewed from her own child's blood. From there, he scaled up fast. When the priests of his kingdom tried to stop him, he cast a single spell and killed every priest in the land who wasn't standing behind stone. And then he did the thing that earns him the top of this list. Nagash decided that if he couldn't have everything, then nobody could. So he set out to kill an entire civilization at once and raise it as his army. He had his homeland's rivers poisoned, which set off a plague that wiped out 9 of every 10 people, whole cities buried under their own dead. The land's last great king could only sit on his throne and watch. He watched the plague take his own wife and children first, then his cities, then his whole people, knowing exactly who was doing it and completely unable to stop a thing. Every one of those millions of deaths fed one enormous spell, and Nagash kept it burning with the daily sacrifice of slaves on top. And his goal was never just to kill them, he wanted them back, on their feet, serving him forever. Death didn't even stop him, because he got back up and made himself the literal god of the dead. So now, when you die in his world, you don't get rest, your soul goes to him. The one mercy everyone is supposed to get at the end, the fact that it stops, that you finally get to put it down, Nagash means to take even that. He is out there right now gathering every soul that has ever died into one endless kingdom, and he intends for yours to be in it, awake and serving, with him the only thing left that gets to call itself king. Subscribe for more Warhammer deep dives, and thanks for watching.